Hi everyone, Katie Sutton, intuitive channel and founder of Zen Within Academy here with your July energy update. We have three really important themes this month. The first is unification of polarization. The second is action and go mode. And the third is actualization in the physical. So stay tuned for the rest of the Hi everyone. As I mentioned, we have three important themes this month that I'm going to talk about for the month of July. I hope all of you are staying well, staying healthy, and taking really good care of yourselves as we continue through this collective experience. So, one of the first themes that I want to talk about is unification of polarization. Last month, one of our key themes in June was freedom of self-expression, and we really saw that come to the forefront as marginalized groups began to protest and stand up for their rights. This month, we will see a bit of a continuation of that theme, but it's going to be brought down to the individual level because all of the change that needs to happen in the collective needs to begin within first. So what we're going to see is a heightened sense of awareness of the different archetypes of polarization that we carry on an individual level. So for example, our leaning towards divine masculine or divine feminine, how we might be carrying ancestral patterns from our mom and our dad, from those two polar opposites that would have raised us, right? We have different archetypes, different polarizations and archetypes that will be showing up throughout the month of July. And rather than picking a side or rather than identifying with one or the other, we're going to be given the choice point to bring those two things into unity. And really practically, that might look like big patterns that you've had beginning to release. It may also look like a release of self-sabotaging, a release of certain relationships, and a release of maybe even certain dynamics within those relationships that are creating more and more polarity. We really will be reconciling a release of any polarization in our fields. And that may look like as well having some days where we feel really, really connected to source, really connected to higher self, and other days where we're kind of in the doldrums, we're processing, we're moving through a lot of things. So notice as you move throughout the month of July when you're picking a side. Right? This isn't about us not being in our truth, right? So understand that picking a side doesn't mean that you're not going to stand in your truth if there's something that you're very passionate about. But don't be sucked in to someone else's drama, someone else's argument, right? This is a time for us to step into unity within so that we can begin to hold that template in our external reality with those around us. And we're seeing that play out as we continue to have pro and con debates about many different things in our collective consciousness right now. So pay really close attention to how you're showing up and when you're getting sucked into a rabbit hole and maybe need to come back to center. Grounding and connecting with earth as well as source in even amounts will be very, very helpful in this process. The other thing that I want to talk about this month, that's another theme, our second theme, is action. So we have some astrological things happening. We have some eclipses happening at the beginning of July. We also have Mars entering Aries, which is a big astrological happening. And you know, I'm not an astrologer, but I understand that the universe wants order. And so when I see certain things like that lining up, I often get an energetic preview of what that's going to mean for each of us in our growth process. And you know, we're going to start to see as we step into more action in the month of July, this is a beginning of an anchoring of the divine masculine blueprint. Many of us are going to need to release what we think is the divine masculine, which is actually wounded masculine, which is over-efforting, taking action without cause, right? That needs to be released in that first theme that we talked about clearing polarity. As that happens, we will step into a greater degree of ability to start to anchor the divine masculine blueprint that is being bathed, that we are being bathed with in the month of July. So this eclipse coming up on July 4th and July 5th is really, really key to beginning to anchor this action energy. So we will start to be able to access that divine blueprint of what it looks like to be in balance in our divine masculine. And we've already been working for the last several months on our divine feminine. This is just the beginning of that divine masculine anchoring. We need both components in order to be in unity. So even though this shift in consciousness that we have happening is a move towards the divine feminine overall, within our own being, we need to be balanced. So you're going to see a lot of things coming up for you this month about balance, right? Where are you taking too much action? Where are you not taking enough action? Where are you not setting boundaries and saying no? Some of you might feel this energy as it arises, as this wounded masculine comes to the surface, as anger and second guessing, right? We may get really, really angry and feel like we're not doing enough, right? We may get really, really angry and feel like somebody else isn't doing enough to support us. And then we begin to second guess what our truth is. So we will step into this action mode, which will create the space for each of us on an individual level to anchor this divine masculine energy. This is a very, very new frequency. This is not something that we have had in our collective experience up until now. The last 13,000 years have been very much about the wounded masculine, the patriarchy, right? That is coming to a close as we are now in 2020. So this energy is just starting to anchor. And that takes me to the third theme. They're very tied in this month, all the themes. The third theme is about actualization in the physical. What I mean by that is working with your physical body as a divine masculine vessel. So we will start to see a continuation of what happened last month, where we had a reemergence of trauma. So stuff came to the surface in the physical body last month, and we weren't really able to clear it just yet. Now that we have this action-oriented energy, we're ready to take charge. We're ready to make a different choice in our physical life. For me personally, that looks like giving up my sugar addiction of the last 35 years. And I have tried that many, many times, but here we have an energy that is setting us up to take full responsibility for our physical body. We're going to be releasing not only emotional trauma, but physical trauma that we've been carrying around, perhaps for lifetimes, that says that we are not in command and control of our physical being. We're not able to consciously control every cell in our body. That's a falsity. We absolutely can control every aspect of our physical, emotional, and spiritual being. And so this month is about taking charge of that physical body. You might find yourself for the very first time being able to stick with an exercise routine, with a supplement routine. You might be changing your diet. You might be releasing meat from your diet so you can raise your vibration. There's a lot of possibilities of how this might show up for you. In addition, we're going to have an expansion and an amplification of the light that we can now take in our bodies. So those of you that have already made a lot of shifts, what you might start to see is that you have periods where you want to let your body rest, where you want to do a juice fast or a cleanse or some sort of fast that allows the body a greater degree of integration time. You see, we're moving towards a crystalline DNA structure, and this is all part of the process. Anything that's been buried in the body, any genetic anomalies are going to start to come to the surface to be healed. And we absolutely can heal them. All we have to do is ask for support, right? I literally asked for a miracle in healing my sugar addiction, and it came, right? I was able to step out of my self-sabotaging patterns, step out of my victim, and into a place of owning my physical body. That is going to continue to anchor for me throughout the rest of the month. And, to that end, what we will see is a big focus on the lower three chakras. So the solar plexus, the sacral, and the root are all about our physical manifestation in the world around us. So it makes sense that when we're here focusing on actualization of the physical, that we will be seeing an upgrade to those lower three chakras, which will allow us to continue to embody higher light in our physical being. So that is what is up this month. I hope you will join me in working through these themes. I know that these energy updates are really important for you all to know what's coming. I'm always here doing lots of one-on-one sessions to support you if you need it. And then on July 8th, Wednesday, July 8th, we will have a very, very special healing circle focused on the physical body. We're going to call it Healing the Body Temple. And we will be working with the inner earth beings to begin to activate these lower 3 chakras, clear any trauma in the body, clear any physical genetic anomalies that might want to present themselves later on, and come into a place of sovereignty in our physical being, our physical health, our immune system, all of the things that are really, really important for us as we continue to move through this collective experience that we all find ourselves participating in. So I hope you'll join me. That is Wednesday, July 8th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Information in the show notes just below this video. So have a wonderful month. Take some action. Do something bold. Really, really lean into these energetic themes. We have so much light and so much support coming in from the angelic realms, from the star realms, here to really help us move forward. Everybody wants us to move forward, so it is time. So thank you all for watching and have a great month.